Hey there, welcome to House of Business. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest falls from grace in tech history, Nokia. Buckle up, because this story's got more twists and turns than a Finnish rally race. Remember Nokia? In the early 2000s, they were everywhere. If you had a cell phone, odds are it was a Nokia. At their peak, they controlled 40% of the global mobile phone market. That's not just big. That's domination. But fast forward to today, and Nokia's not even in the phone business anymore. Talk about a plot twist, right? So, what happened? How did Nokia go from king of the hill to, well, not even on the hill anymore? Let's break it down. First, let's rewind a bit. Nokia wasn't always about phones. They started way back in 1865 as a paper mill. Yeah, you heard that right. Over the years, they dabbled in everything from rubber boots to electronics. It's like they were playing a corporate version of try everything and see what sticks. But in the 1980s, they made a big bet on mobile phones and networking equipment. And boy, did that bet pay off. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Nokia was on fire. They created iconic phones like the indestructible 3310. Remember that one? You could probably use it as a hammer, and it'd still work. It was the Chuck Norris of mobile phones. By 2007, Nokia was sitting pretty. They owned 40% of the global mobile phone market. They were innovative, efficient, and seemed unstoppable. Nokia was to phones what Google is to search engines today. They were the brand everyone knew and trusted. But then, everything changed. In 2007, a guy named Steve Jobs got on stage in his iconic black turtleneck and introduced something called the iPhone. The next year, Google launched Android. And just like that, the smartphone revolution had begun. Now, you might think Nokia saw this coming, and in a way, they did. They were working on touchscreen phones and had even developed their own smartphone operating system called Symbian. But their response to the iPhone and Android was way too slow. It's like they brought a knife to a gunfight. So where did Nokia go wrong? Let's count the ways. 1. They underestimated the competition. Nokia's bosses initially dismissed the iPhone as a niche product. They thought, we're Nokia. We're too big to fail. Spoiler alert, they weren't. 2. They stuck with outdated software. While Apple and Android were attracting app developers left and right, Nokia clung to their clunky Symbian system. It was like trying to win a Formula One race with a horse and buggy. 3. Internal conflicts. Nokia was like a house divided. Different departments weren't working together, slowing everything down. It was corporate Game of Thrones, minus the dragons. 4. Complacency. Success had made Nokia lazy. They were too slow to realize they needed to change, and fast. They were resting on their laurels while Apple and Google were busy changing the game. 5. They missed the ecosystem boat. Apple and Google were building entire worlds around their phones with app stores and integrated services. Nokia? They were still focused on just making good hardware. It's like they brought a really nice bat to a game that had suddenly changed to soccer. By 2010, the writing was on the wall. Nokia's market share was in free fall. Their smartphones couldn't compete with iPhones and Android devices. It was like watching a tech titan topple in slow motion. In 2011, they made a desperate move, partnering with Microsoft to use Windows Phone. But it was too little, too late. It's like they finally decided to upgrade from a horse to a car, but everyone else was already flying. In 2013, Nokia sold its phone business to Microsoft for $7.2 billion. Sounds like a lot, right? But it was a fraction of what Nokia was worth at its peak. Microsoft eventually wrote off the whole deal, and the Nokia name all but vanished from phones. It was the end of an era. So, what can we learn from Nokia's fall? A few big things. First, never underestimate new innovations, even if they seem niche at first. The iPhone might have looked like a toy to Nokia, but it was actually a wrecking ball aimed at their business model. Second, success can make you complacent. Always stay hungry. Nokia got too comfortable at the top and forgot to keep innovating. Third, your company's culture is just as important as your market strategy. Nokia's internal conflicts and slow decision-making were just as damaging as their outdated products. Fourth, in tech, software and ecosystems often trump hardware. Nokia made great phones, but in the smartphone era, that wasn't enough. They needed a thriving app ecosystem to compete. And finally, adapt quickly to changes, even if it means killing your own successful products. Nokia was too afraid of cannibalizing their own phone sales to fully embrace smartphones. But in tech, if you don't cannibalize your own products, someone else will do it for you. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Nokia, the company, is still around. They've reinvented themselves as a leader in networking equipment and are big players in 5G technology. They've found a new niche and are thriving in it. It's like watching Rocky make a comeback, but with more antennas and less boxing. Nokia's story is a wake-up call for every business out there. In the fast-paced world of tech, even the biggest giants can fall if they don't innovate and adapt. It's like corporate natural selection: adapt or die. So, next time you look at today's tech leaders like Apple, Google, or Amazon, ask yourself, could they be the next Nokia? Are they staying hungry and innovative, or are they getting complacent? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, in tech, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. It's like trying to run up a down escalator. Stop moving, and you'll find yourself at the bottom before you know it. Nokia's story teaches us that no company is too big to fail. It doesn't matter if you're on top of the world today. If you stop innovating, if you ignore changing consumer needs, if you dismiss new competitors, you could be yesterday's news tomorrow. But it also teaches us about resilience. Nokia didn't disappear. They adapted. They found a new path forward. And in the unpredictable world of business, sometimes that's the best you can do. So, whether you're running a multinational corporation or a small startup, remember the lesson of Nokia. Stay hungry, stay innovative, and never, ever think you're too big to fail. Thanks for tuning in to House of Business. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And hey, let us know in the comments. What was your first Nokia phone? Or if you're too young for that, what was your first smartphone? See you in the next one.